Hey, everybody, welcome to No Vacancy. And I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Really a pleasure to have you here. Listen, it's spring, although us here in the Northeast and I think the Midwest will deny it's spring weather related. We don't know what's going on over here. It's very sad. It's very depressing. That's all right, because we're going to be talking about what is going on in hospitality and everything you need to know. And you know, I can't do it alone. We've got a great guest for you today. But first, I want to thank our friends over at Actabl. Actabl, remember, they give you the power to profit. Please check them out at actabl.com. All right, we're going to talk consumer sentiment. We're going to be talking pipelines. We're going to be talking about meetings. We're going to be talking about it all. To do that, I got our friend Bruce Ford, SVP over at Lodging Econometrics. What's up, buddy?
Rah, rah, shish, boom, bah, Bugs Bunny, rah, rah, rah.
Happy early April and still feeling winter weather.
Yes.
I thought March was going out like a lamb. What's happened up there, bro?
Well, I was out in my yard this morning, and the
Yep.
robins are walking around,
Yep.
and the bunnies are digging holes. So spring might be here. I don't know, but we had snow the other day.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The last week, you guys are watching this on the top of the week. Last week we had 75 degrees one day and then 40 the next. I don't know what's going on.
It's
But
tearing out my insides, Glenn.
I'll
I
tell
tell
you
you.
what, Bruce, I think that kind of models what we're seeing out there today in consumer sentiment and all of that kind of stuff. It's either things are really great or things are really bad, depending on where you are in this K-shaped economy. How are you seeing it today at the end of the
Well,
first quarter?
what we have to start with, Glenn, is that the next traveling economy,
Yep.
okay, as the age that you and I have reached, that
Yep.
golden age, okay? The next traveling economy doesn't consume travel the same way you and I do at all. They
Yeah.
don't book it the same, they don't experience it the same, they don't spend the same, they don't, uh, travel the same, okay? So,
Mhm.
that is a lot of, evolution that's happening without a real estate cycle all on its own, okay? And when people start to talk about luxury and how well it's doing, that has something to do with it, okay? Because people are having these blowout trips,
Right.
these experience trips,
Yep.
these I'm already spending 800 bucks for that concert ticket. Who cares if the Four Seasons costs 500? We're
Mhm.
staying there.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and or who cares if we have the double tomahawk for $175? We're doing that because 'cause we're doing it up, okay?
Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
And so the next generation not only has brands being announced for them, they not only have, AI-powered travel decision making, but they also have, their own sentiments is, "I like my house. I'm okay with doing a staycation to have that one big blowout 4 or 5-day trip."
So
Whereas you
you're
and I
saying you're saying that younger people, are gonna take bigger trips, but less frequently, and I would argue that us older folks are probably still taking more getaways as we have more times in our lives theoretically to get away.
well, if you think about it, when we were that age, Glenn, we
Yeah.
pined for the week off, right? Because that's what you did. You took a
Yeah.
week off,
Mhm.
right? Now they wanna take 2 day they wanna take Thursday, Friday, and Monday. That's not a week, okay? And
Yeah.
it's it's kind of like packaging it up a little bit differently, consuming it a little bit differently, wanting to be part of the party that happens on the weekends. Whereas today, you and I travel and we're like, "Well, I don't want anything to do with Saturday and Sunday night in a given place that I'm going to," because that's so not me.
That is true. I will say it's very
Well,
interesting.
how's the party on Monday?
Right? Is there a 4 p.m. party going on Monday? That'd be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
We're talking. We're two guys that used to really live in youth culture. We'll call it right there.
Well,
Right.
we both flown a couple million miles, been to
Yep.
20 plus countries, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, um, our feelings about travel are very different today than they were when we were that age, but it's even more evolved today for that age.
It
And,
certainly.
you heard me say it on many casts together, Glenn, the new brand that comes out is not for us.
No, you have said that many, many times, painfully reminding me. But then again, every time I've stayed in one, your point is crystal clear to me because they're great products. They are just not designed for what I'm looking for, nor should they be. If you think about advertising demographics, the main category is that 18 to 34 category. I think in hotels you could say it may go up into the 21 to the 50 range, and us being over that, we're looking for a different type of product, right, Bruce?
Yeah, and I think, it probably the business travel age is like 24 to 40. You
Yeah.
think one way,
Hmm.
okay, and then 40 to 50, you think another way,
Yeah.
and then over 50, you think another way.
That's where we're looking for the parties at 4 a.m. on a 4 p.m. I mean, 4 a.m. may not be so bad because I'm getting up
No,
at
that's the 4th party, Glenn, not
yeah.
the 4 PM party, the 4th party.
Ah,
That's what we're looking for when we're 25.
I remember going to parties that started at 4 a.m. We call them 4 a.m. clubs or something like that. All right, what's going on in greater hospitality here between primary
So
drivers and supporting demand? Now we talked about event experience, so that's really driving demand out
So
there.
not only in the event experience, and we'll talk a little bit more about that,
Yeah,
but that's not just luxury. That's people
right.
choosing to travel to an event in a different
Mhm.
place, whether that's a wedding or that's a spiritual event or that's a conference or that's a kind of conference slash leisure, and I'm going to go to a concert or I'm going to travel and hit all the baseball stadiums or whatever. But kind of going from left to right, the meetings, why is that say up? Well, the meeting frequency is up. The size of said meetings is all down.
Right.
Okay. So if you used to have a 20,000 person conference, you probably have 15,000 people now.
Right.
If you used to
But I
have it,
will say, Bruce, conversely, if you have a conference with 80 people, you might have 85, 90 people. But the
right.
smaller conferences in no way make up for the difference that you're seeing in the colossal drop from some of the big giant conferences, right?
Yep. And some of those meetings also are in effect because we have so much remote work going on now. And that's still very much the case. We do have to get together eventually.
That's right.
Okay. And doing that in a hotel, whether that's an airport hotel or an in town hotel, there's all kinds of revenue that a hotel can capture, getting 20 room nights, bringing in 20 executives, getting them into the restaurant, getting them into the bar, using the meeting space, catering lunch, all
Yep.
of that revenue that you're trying to capture and is more and more important today than ever before.
Yeah.
And so those are in hotel meetings where you're capturing as much of the revenue as possible, or you're connecting things together that are preferred services that you offer, if you will.
Yeah.
So lots of different ways to go about that. Now, leisure travel will look a little different this year. So, Glenn,
Yeah.
with kids and a large family, like I said, we used to think about let's take the week off. Well, we can't afford to go away for a whole week now with 3 kids and 2 adults and get on a plane and stay in a hotel and rent a car and go to the amusement park and all that stuff. It's very expensive,
Yes.
prohibitively so.
Yes.
So I'll tell you what, why don't mom and the girls go and dad and the boys will go up to the lake and sit in the tent and fish all weekend?
Yep.
How's that sound?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I I think. I think a better idea would be for my wife to do the fishing, and then I could go on a huge.
To each his own, Glenn.
I'm just kidding. I'm
But
just
the
kidding.
splitting up, perhaps, or a smaller group of the family going away together is something that I think is gonna be a little bit of a phenomenon, and
Interesting.
so a little bit of a smaller cluster of people, and that's just really trying to be responsible with the dollars that we ultimately have less of because of the current economic situation that we're in.
That's true. As we're recording this, we're still processing the largest gas increase, I think, in modern history ever. Kind of a
And
thing. I
that
guess.
really isn't hasn't really even gotten all the way through the economy yet.
No,
If
no,
you
just the gas prices. We haven't seen the shock in all of the other prices and products and services.
Yeah,
Just
because if you think about it, diesel's
yep.
$5 a gallon now, Glenn, at the cheapest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2x what it was. Okay, so every single thing that arrives at your grocery store is delivered on a diesel vehicle.
Yep.
Every single thing that arrives at your department store is delivered on a diesel vehicle. Okay, it's going to start rippling through more of the economy. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I use Owl exclusively delivery services, so I'm trying to be
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you were droning it.
no, yeah, I would like to do that though. That would be pretty cool too. All
So
right,
that
any more
so that
observations?
experience travel, I'm going to the concert, I'm
Mhm.
going for the weekend, I'm going with the girls, you know, this is really up. The key is with experience travel, again, for the owner and management company, you gotta capture as much of the revenue as those people wanna put on the table.
Yeah.
How am I gonna do that? So, in terms of what the consumer is thinking, though, they're very attracted to incentives today. You're seeing more and more incentives. Disney has incentives. Marriott has incentives. Hilton has
NGM
incentives.
put out the
MGM has
all-inclusive offer.
incentives.
Yep.
Our
Mhm.
frequent guests that are part of brand.com, this is where the leverage begins. This is
Yep.
why they did what they did during the pandemic. And now they're really going to try and put it to work. Okay. And hey, I get attracted with 20% off. I mean, who doesn't? Right? I mean, at the end of
Well,
the day, that's gonna get me interested.
I'm just at the point where I'm cynical, not with hotels, but with retail. When they're giving me 20% off, probably because they're just charging 20% too much so they could give me 20% off.
Hey, did you go to a sales class, Glenn?
I
All
went to
right.
life class, bro, you know? Uh,
So, but I'm gonna shop and I'm gonna seek a deal and I'm still looking for a deal. I've
yeah.
always got to feel like I got to get a deal, and that might be more in tune with today's consumer, or at
Mhm.
least 2/3 of the consumers.
Right.
I'm not sure that that younger generation understands the deal that could be had per se.
Well, let's
Um,
change the word deal into value. I think that's what we're really talking about is making people feel good about the money that they're spending, particularly as we're going into more complicated economic times. You want people to have that good vibes as opposed to a lot of that nickel and diming energy that's been going around lately.
so that's a great point, Glenn, on the value. The value is also about the period of time that you're on the experience.
Yep.
Okay. We might have in travel before wanted the value in the transaction we were about to do.
Mhm.
Okay. That was going to happen within 30 seconds. And then, okay, the value is received. Now they want the value to extend for the 3 days that they're there. I'm gonna
Yep.
pay for that club lounge. I don't mind. It's
Yep.
$100 extra a day. I wanna be able to go there when I wanna go there. Club lounges may, in fact, at the luxury hotels, I can tell you that that's a big driver for a lot of the younger generation.
Yeah.
To
Interesting.
have that private space that they can go to
Mhm.
and, quote, "be part of the clique"
Yeah.
is really a thing.
Well, it should be a thing, and we've been talking about it for years that people want access. They want bragging rights. They want to be able to do things others can't. And in a modern society where so many people get to travel so much, that's the point of differentiation that makes sense. Bruce, we're almost out of time. You better wrap us up here, buddy.
So we're going to build less hotels this year, largely because we're still in a financing quandary.
Mhm.
Okay. So still building about 86,000 rooms this year in the United States, still pretty low, not really a lot of starts. Where we're seeing the investment is in the renovation and conversions at existing hotels, remaking, reshaping, re-leveraging the opportunity that they have at the property. And there's more hotels for sale than we've ever seen before. Big jump last year, about 18% up on total number of transactions, and we expect that to continue this year. And those slides will be available as you watch this cast.
Yeah, and check him out. Drop a note, B Ford at lodgingeconometrics.com. Bruce, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you watching. Remember,
Glenn,
you, yeah.
anytime I can get out of your day, I'm happy.
Hey, and I'm happy too. Thanks, everybody. Remember, you got one life, so blaze on. See y'all later. Bye, everybody.